Okay, today we live in a world of constant noise. Notifications never stop, headlines compete for our attention, and the rhythm of modern life often feels like a storm that sweeps us off balance. You may have felt it too, the sense that things are moving faster than you can hold on to, that peace is slipping further away with every demand added to your day. This is Stoic Dhamma, a place where we slow down and explore the timeless teachings of Stoic philosophy. Today's journey will take us into the heart of this idea, from the history that shaped it, to the philosophy that supports it, and finally, to the ways you can apply it to your own daily mindfulness. Together, we will walk gently through ancient wisdom, unexplained mysteries, and quiet reflections, seeking calm narration that inspires inner balance. 2,000 years ago, in the midst of political unrest, plague, and uncertainty, a Roman philosopher named Seneca the Younger offered a path toward stillness. His words remind us, trust life's order to find inner peace. This lesson, born from ancient wisdom, continues to guide us through the chaos of our own time. Ancient conversation. Seneca the Younger, one of the most profound voices of Roman Stoic philosophy, wrote during a time when the empire seemed always on the edge of collapse. Civil wars shook the foundations of society, plagues emptied streets, and politics carried hidden daggers. In this turbulence, Seneca turned inward and sought a principle that could steady the soul. The idea was simple yet radical. Life already carries its own order. Beneath chaos, beneath shifting events and disasters, flows a current of necessity. Seneca never believed we could bend fate into the shape of our desires. Instead, he taught that peace arises from aligning with what is, rather than exhausting our spirit by resisting what cannot be changed. For the Stoics, this was not blind acceptance or passive waiting. It was an active trust, born from reason, that the universe holds a structure greater than any single person. The seasons turn, rivers carve valleys, empires rise and fall, and still life unfolds. Whoever learns to harmonize with this rhythm discovers calm, even while storms rage. Seneca lived under Nero, a ruler notorious for suspicion and cruelty. He knew well the dangers of politics and the fragility of human plans. To write about trusting life's order was not speculation, it was survival. In uncertainty, he found strength not through control, but through accepting limits with clarity. Now imagine our time. We do not face Roman legions, yet we endure modern unrest. Deadlines multiply, news cycles never pause, and ambitions collapse under pressure. The form has shifted, but the essence remains. Life unfolds unpredictably, and the attempt to master every detail deepens anxiety. To understand life's natural order is to step back from this struggle. Daily mindfulness reveals patterns easily missed. Seeds must break before growth, tides withdraw before returning, silence must exist for music to breathe. These rhythms remind us that order is not always visible, but it is always present. Seneca once wrote that time is the most precious possession, and yet we waste it as if it were endless. By observing the natural order, he invites us to treasure each passing moment. When we accept that everything is part of a greater unfolding, we stop fighting against the inevitable and begin living within it. The Stoics did not deny the weight of pain, loss, or injustice. They themselves endured exile, betrayal, and the constant shadow of death. What gave them resilience was the conviction that such trials were not accidents, but threads woven into nature's larger tapestry. The question was never whether hardship would arrive, but how one would meet it. To resist reality is to multiply suffering. To align with it is to free the mind from unnecessary turmoil. Here lies the first lesson of this philosophy. Control does not reside in the realm of events, but in the realm of response. The river of life flows where it will, yet we hold the oar that guides our attitude. Seneca reminded his readers to keep their gaze steady, to trust that beyond any storm rests the horizon of peace. History reinforces this truth. Archaeological discoveries in Pompeii reveal ordinary lives interrupted. Cups left upon tables, sandals resting beside doorways. These fragments show how suddenly life can be overturned, and yet they also whisper of continuity. Nature reclaims, reshapes, and reorders. Out of disaster emerges renewal. Within this cycle, Stoic philosophy sees confirmation of its wisdom. Modern science too echoes these patterns. Galaxies spiral in cosmic harmony, ecosystems maintain fragile balance, and within us bodies breathe and heal without our command. Life persists through countless disruptions, evidence of an intelligence far greater than human design. Stoicism invites us to recognize this presence and trust in its order. Yet trust is not naive optimism. Suffering cuts deep, losses wound, injustice leaves scars. But to trust life's order is to reframe pain, not erase it. As Epictetus taught, what unsettles us are not events themselves, but our judgments. When we see hardship as disorder, we despair. When we see it as belonging, we endure with dignity. Seneca's context sharpens this truth. Exiled to Corsica, accused of crimes he did not commit, he still wrote letters filled with wisdom rather than bitterness. His trust was not in fortune nor in power, but in the very fabric of existence. That trust gave him serenity in exile and courage in the face of death. Applied to modern life, this principle calls us to step beyond the illusion of control. We may plan, strive, and hope, yet outcomes remain uncertain. A promotion may never arrive. Relationships may shift. Health may falter. Through it all, the order of life endures, asking us to meet it with equanimity instead of resistance. Picture yourself on a shoreline, watching waves rise and fall. Each crest passes, each retreat is followed by another. To fight the waves is to exhaust yourself. To accept their rhythm is to float. Life's natural order is this ocean, vast, impartial, and unending. Trust allows us to move with it rather than sink beneath it. Seneca reminds us that what truly belongs to us cannot be lost, our power to choose our response. Effort is not abandoned but rooted in wisdom, acting where we can, releasing where we cannot. The relevance of this lesson becomes clear in our age of constant change. Technology evolves, economies fluctuate, and personal identities are reshaped daily. Amid such flux, clinging to certainty breeds despair. Trusting order, however, gives us a compass. We do not need to know each detail of the map, because the path itself is trustworthy. And so the heart of it is this: life holds its own order, regardless of our fears. Seneca invites us to look beyond the surface chaos and see the quiet structure beneath. In recognizing it, we soften our grip, we breathe more deeply, and we begin to dwell in a peace that cannot be shaken by fortune. To understand why Seneca urged us to trust life's order, we must enter the philosophical foundations of Stoicism itself. Born in Athens and later embraced in Rome, Stoicism was never abstract speculation. It was a practical framework for living, a guide to endure uncertainty and a path to freedom of spirit even amid hostile conditions. At its heart lies a clear distinction. There are things within our control and things beyond it. Epictetus called this separation the key to peace. Our thoughts, desires, and choices belong to us. Wealth, health, and reputation do not. Confusion begins when we cling to what lies outside our reach. Clarity begins when we release them. Seneca embraced this not as theory, but as survival. In a Rome filled with intrigue, power could vanish overnight. His only enduring possession was his reasoned mind. By anchoring himself in this inner citadel, he remained steady in storms that crushed others. Trusting life's order meant trusting reason's compass within. The Stoics also believed the universe was governed by logos, a rational principle woven through existence. Events were not random accidents but threads in a vast tapestry. The task was not to control the weaving, but to recognize its beauty, even when it included knots of suffering. Trusting order was harmony with nature's rational structure. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, echoed this vision. He reminded himself that whatever happens is natural, and nothing natural can harm the soul. To accept events as part of nature is to align with the universe itself. Resistance leads to bitterness. Trust leads to serenity. Though austere on the surface, this philosophy carried compassion. By reminding us that pain and loss are not punishments but elements of order, Stoicism frees us from resentment. Seneca wrote that fortune has no power over the wise, because the wise no longer bargain with fate but welcome what comes as part of the whole. Epictetus sharpened this truth through his own life. Born a slave and later a teacher, he knew hardship intimately. His lesson was simple: disturbance arises not from events but from judgments. To label something unbearable doubles our suffering. To see it as part of order softens its sting. Trust transforms pain into endurance. Yet Stoicism was never passive surrender. Seneca served as statesman and advisor. Marcus ruled an empire. They acted, but with perspective. The Stoic seeks to do what is right while releasing obsession with outcomes. Control lies in the effort, not the result. Consider a Roman farmer. He tills soil, plants seeds, and waters diligently. But rain and season remain beyond him. To rage against weather is futile. To trust nature's order is wise. So in life, we commit to work and virtue, entrusting results to forces greater than us. This balance of effort and surrender defines Stoic practice. Modern science confirms this wisdom. Neuroscience shows stress increases when we try to control the uncontrollable. The Stoics anticipated this truth. By focusing on thoughts, actions, and values, what lies within reach, they freed the mind from needless torment. Trust in order becomes a medicine for anxiety. Yet Stoic trust is not only rational but spiritual. The Stoics saw themselves as citizens of the cosmos, participants in something vast. To live in harmony with nature's order was to live with dignity, aware that each life is a note in a greater symphony. Whether long or short, sweet or bitter, each note contributes to the whole. Seneca often pointed to life's brevity as proof of this outlook. We are given enough time, he said, if we use it wisely. Trusting life's order frees us from complaint. Instead of lamenting what cannot be held, we savor what is present. Gratitude grows naturally when everything is seen as gift. For Seneca, tranquility came not from abundance but from perspective. A person who owns little but accepts life's order can be rich in spirit. One who owns much yet resists events is impoverished. Trust in order equalizes, teaching that peace is available to all, regardless of fortune. Marcus Aurelius reinforced this truth. The universe is change and life is opinion. To see change as natural and to discipline opinion through reason is the Stoic art of living. Despite wars, plagues, and grief, his journals reveal calm reflections. Trusting order was his compass in chaos. This compass can guide us too. Rejection, illness, or failure often provoke resistance and despair. Stoicism invites another response. Pause, breathe, and see events as part of order. You are not powerless. You still command your mind. By choosing patience over rage, acceptance over bitterness, you step into freedom. Trust in order also carries ethical weight. The Stoics taught that virtue, wisdom, justice, courage, temperance is the only true good. External success fades, but virtue endures. Trusting order directs energy away from clinging to fortune and toward cultivating character. In this soil, virtue grows. Epictetus likened life to a play. We do not choose its length or our role, only how well we perform it. To trust life's order is to honor the script without complaint, acting with dignity whether the play is comedy or tragedy. Through these insights, Stoicism shows why trust is not weakness but strength. It takes courage to release control, wisdom to discern what belongs to us, and humility to accept our place in the cosmos. Seneca, Marcus, and Epictetus remind us that such trust opens the door to peace no fortune can steal. Thus, trusting life is not abstract theory, but a call to align thought, action, and spirit with deeper currents of existence. When we recognize order beneath chaos, change ceases to terrify. We greet it with calm assurance that whatever comes belongs to the path of wisdom. And so we are left with this vision. Life unfolds according to reasoned design. We cannot command its details, but we can command our response. By trusting this order, we embody the essence of Stoic philosophy and prepare to carry its lessons into the trials of modern life. To see Stoicism only as history would be to miss its living essence. For the Stoics, philosophy was not written to rest in libraries, but to be practiced in the streets, in the fields, in the marketplace, and in the quiet of one's room. Seneca's call to trust life's order is most powerful when it enters daily choices, not when left on parchment. Let us begin with work, where modern stress often takes root. Culture pushes us to measure worth by achievements, promotions, and titles. This fixation breeds anxiety, since outcomes rest on countless factors beyond our control. Here, Stoicism brings relief. If we shift attention from results to effort, integrity, and intention, we regain freedom. The value lies not in applause but in the simple act of living wisely. Picture preparing for an important presentation. You study, refine, and deliver, yet the response may be lukewarm, or success may be delayed. The Stoic response is steady. I have done my part, the rest belongs to life's order. I see. This perspective releases us from despair, because worth rests in what is ours to shape, not in outcomes beyond reach. Relationships form another testing ground. We often wish others would behave as we expect, yet they act from their own histories and desires. Seneca reminds us to trust the order of life, which includes the nature of other people. Marcus Aurelius reflected that many act out of ignorance rather than malice. This awareness led him to forgive. By softening judgment, we replace resentment with compassion. Acceptance does not mean passivity, but clarity. People are as they are, not as we demand. Personal growth, too, benefits from Stoic trust. Our age of self-help often ties peace to achieving more, owning more, or becoming someone else entirely. But the Stoics point inward. Real growth comes not from endless striving, but from fortifying the mind. In rejection or failure, they invite us to ask, what belongs to me here? The setback itself does not belong, but my response does. Seen this way, every loss becomes a teacher, every obstacle a mirror. Practical exercises bring this philosophy alive. Begin with mindful breathing. When chaos rises, inhale deeply, exhale slowly, and recall, what I cannot control, I release. This is not resignation but alignment with life's order. Journaling adds another tool. Seneca's letters served as his mirror. Today we can record our struggles and ask, did I resist what I could not control? Did I trust the flow of events? Over time, these reflections turn Stoic insight into habit. Modern science affirms these practices. Psychology shows that reframing thoughts reduces stress and builds resilience. What neuroscientists now call cognitive restructuring was practiced by Stoics centuries ago. By choosing perspective, the brain itself shifts from alarm to clarity. Trust then becomes medicine both for mind and body. Technology presents fresh challenges. Social media tempts us into comparison and envy, whispering constantly that we lack. Yet Seneca warned that envy robs peace, and Marcus insisted that others' opinions are beyond our command. To live stoically in the digital age is to reclaim presence, turning attention from curated illusions to the life directly before us. Imagine stepping away from the screen and noticing the sky, clouds, or a tree swaying in the wind. In that moment, philosophy returns to its natural ground, alignment with the rhythm of life itself. The Stoics also faced mortality with unflinching honesty. Seneca wrote that life is not short, but often wasted. To apply this today is to live deliberately, remembering that each morning is a gift. Awareness of finitude sharpens gratitude and courage. Instead of postponing living, we embrace the present fully, trusting life's order to carry us where it will. Trust also reshapes community. When we release the need to control others, we stop blaming them for our discontent. Responsibility shifts inward and space for kindness grows. A society of people practicing Stoic trust becomes less combative, more cooperative, because individuals focus on virtue rather than resentment. Even in crisis, illness, financial uncertainty, or sudden loss, Stoicism remains practical. It tells us that though events lie beyond our command, courage and care remain within reach. By conserving energy for what we can shape, supporting loved ones, making wise choices, nurturing calm, we avoid the paralysis of despair. Trust allows us to stand steady, even when the ground shakes. Mystery, too, belongs within Stoic trust. Why fortune falls as it does, why chance alters lives, why suffering arrives suddenly. These are questions without final answers. The Stoics did not seek to resolve every riddle, but to accept them as part of order itself. Peace comes not from solving life, but from walking calmly within its mystery. Each day provides small classrooms for this practice: a traffic jam, a delayed message, an unexpected change in plans. Each is an invitation to patience, to the art of response. Over time, Stoic trust becomes less effortful, more natural. Like breathing, it flows quietly in the background, steadying the mind against storms. Seneca often described philosophy as medicine for the soul, a remedy to be taken daily, not just studied from afar. To live stoically today is to carry this medicine into every space of life. The workplace with its pressures, the home with its relationships, the moments of uncertainty, and the quiet hours of solitude. Each setting becomes a place of practice. With patience, we learn to recognize the first stirrings of agitation, the rising tide of anger or fear. Instead of letting it overwhelm us, we take the dose of trust, reminding ourselves of what lies within our control and what does not. Gradually, storms soften, clarity returns, and calm begins to replace chaos. In this way, Stoicism proves itself timeless. It is no relic of history but a living guide, breathing in boardrooms, classrooms, and silent walks. By trusting life's order, we join the Stoics in their enduring mission to live with wisdom, courage, and freedom. To reach the heart of Stoicism, we must return to its promise that peace is possible even when life refuses to bend to our will. Seneca's reminder to trust life's order is not an invitation to surrender in defeat, but a call to redirect our energy. Instead of scattering ourselves against walls we cannot move, we learn to build stillness within. Inner peace does not mean silence around us, it means clarity inside us. The world may shout, storms may rise, but the Stoic cultivates a calm unshaken by noise. By trusting order, we create space between event and reaction. This space is where freedom lives. It is where acceptance blooms, and with it, serenity. Seneca believed that tranquility was the highest form of wealth. Gold may glitter, but calm allows us to endure fortune's changes with dignity. To trust life's order is to recognize that every moment, whether joyous or painful, is woven into a larger whole. Peace arises not from controlling the pattern, but from recognizing its beauty as it unfolds. Marcus Aurelius echoed this when he wrote that the soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. If we resist endlessly, our inner dye is one of bitterness and fear. If we trust the order of events, our soul takes on the color of acceptance, patience, and strength. Thus, peace is not found, but cultivated through trust. But what does this peace look like in practice? Imagine a day filled with unexpected delays, harsh words, and frustrations. Normally, irritation builds until it overflows. The Stoic, however, breathes and reflects. These events are not hostile intrusions. They are natural expressions of order. This perspective softens anger. Calm narration replaces complaint. Peace arrives not from circumstances, but from how we hold them. From here, we turn to the deeper layers of existence. Across cultures, the same wisdom repeats. Hindu teachings speak of dharma, living in harmony with one's role in the cosmic order. The Bhagavad Gita reminds us to act without attachment to results. This harmony mirrors Seneca's call. Trusting life's order unites Stoic philosophy with universal truths found in other traditions. Peace through trust does not ignore suffering. Rather, it gives suffering a place within life's rhythm. Like winter before spring, hardship holds meaning when viewed as part of a cycle. By embracing this perspective, grief is no longer endless despair, but a passage toward renewal. Trust allows us to walk through loss with dignity, not with denial. The archaeological record reveals this wisdom in silence. Ancient ruins show that lives, cities, and empires all pass. What remains is not their resistance, but their participation in the order of change. To walk among these ruins is to feel humility and peace. The stones whisper, Everything belongs. Everything flows. Everything is part of order. Now imagine yourself sitting in stillness, watching thoughts rise and fade like clouds. Some are bright, some are heavy, but all eventually drift. Inner peace comes not from chasing the bright or banishing the heavy, but from trusting the sky itself. You are not the cloud. You are the space that holds them. Trust transforms awareness into serenity. Seneca urged us to use philosophy as a lantern in the night. Without trust, the mind stumbles in darkness, fearing every shadow. With trust, the lantern reveals that shadows are not threats, but shapes within the order of the world. Peace follows clarity, and clarity begins with the decision to trust. But there's another layer. Trust also shapes how we see time. Many of us live in regret of the past or fear of the future. Peace vanishes when we fight what cannot be changed or cling to what has not yet arrived. Stoicism invites us to rest in the present moment. Trusting order means believing that now is enough. In modern life, this peace has practical impact. A parent overwhelmed by responsibility can release perfection and trust that their love is enough. A worker anxious about uncertainty can rest in the knowledge that effort itself carries meaning. A student burdened by comparison can trust that their journey unfolds at its own pace. Peace grows from trust, not control. This does not mean abandoning responsibility. Stoicism demands courage, justice, and discipline. Trust empowers these virtues by clearing away distraction. When we no longer waste energy resisting the inevitable, we can devote ourselves to what matters most, to act with integrity, to show compassion, and to cultivate wisdom. Peace is not passive. It is purposeful. From here, let us imagine how trust changes the quality of daily life. The morning commute becomes an opportunity for patience rather than irritation. A difficult conversation becomes a chance for compassion rather than conflict. Even solitude becomes rich, because trust transforms emptiness into spaciousness. Each moment, when accepted as part of order, holds peace, waiting to be discovered. Even in death, Stoicism offers serenity. Seneca reminded us that death is no enemy, but a natural passage. To fear it is to resist life's order. To trust it is to rest beyond fear. With this acceptance, existence feels lighter, and each fleeting moment shines brighter. Modern psychology echoes the same truth. Mindfulness reduces stress and nurtures well-being. The Stoics, centuries earlier, knew that resisting reality multiplies pain, while acceptance eases it. What science now proves? Philosophy long practiced, trust leads to peace. And so the lesson is clear. Peace comes not by conquering the world, but by aligning with it. To trust life's order is not to give up, but to live fully, with courage and calm. By practicing this trust, you build an inner sanctuary untouched by storms. Within this sanctuary lies the freedom Seneca promised, the freedom of peace. The journey returns to where it began, a world of noise, pressure, and uncertainty. Yet armed with Stoic wisdom, you now know that beneath chaos lies order. By trusting this order, you can breathe deeper, live calmer, and carry peace not as an escape, but as a companion through all seasons of life. Seneca's voice still speaks clearly across the centuries, reminding us that while life cannot be controlled, it can be embraced with dignity. Trusting life's order means understanding that peace does not come from forcing events into our design, but from shaping our response with wisdom and courage. Storms may rage outside, yet within us, stillness can grow stronger each time we practice acceptance. In our hurried world, Stoic philosophy offers a sanctuary, not an escape from responsibility, but a return to what matters most: our thoughts, our actions, our character. To live in alignment with this order is to discover a calm that no fortune, no change, and no loss can steal. If these reflections speak to you, carry them gently into daily life. Begin small: a mindful breath, a patient word, a quiet acceptance of what you cannot change. Over time, inner peace becomes not theory, but a lived reality. Thank you for spending this time with Stoic Dhamma. If you wish to explore further, consider subscribing, sharing your thoughts in the comments, or simply pausing later today to reflect on Seneca's wisdom. In our next journey, we will explore the insight. The soul becomes dyed with the color of positive thinking. Until then, may you walk calmly in the order of life.
References 1. Seneca, L.A., 2017. Letters from a Stoic. Penguin Classics. Point 2. Irvine, W.B., 2009. A Guide to the Good Life, The Ancient Art of Stoic Joy. Oxford University Press. Point 3. Pigliacci, M., 2017. How to be a Stoic, Using Ancient Philosophy to Live a Modern Life. Basic Books.